Good morning, everyone. My name is Johanna, and I'm going to be reading a poem this morning that was shared with me by a close family friend. The poem is about Easter and what it's been like celebrating it this year, but more importantly, it's about what God has in store for us and the hope that we have in Him that lasts longer than the weekend holiday that we just had. The author of the poem is Kristi Bothur. She's a blogger and writer, and for more of her work, you can go to thissideofheavenblog.com. I'm going to read the poem now. It's called How the Virus Stole Easter by Kristi Bothur, with a nod to Dr. Seuss. 'Twas late in 19 when the virus began, bringing chaos and fear to all people, each land. People were sick, hospitals full, doctors overwhelmed, no one in school. As winter gave way to the promise of spring, the virus raged on, touching peasant and king. People hid in their homes from the enemy unseen. They YouTubed and Zoomed, social distanced and cleaned. April approached and churches were closed. There won't be an Easter, the world supposed. There won't be church services and egg hunts are out. No reason for new dresses when we can't go about. Holy Week started, as bleak as the rest. The world was focused on masks and on tests. Easter can't happen this year, it proclaimed. Online and at home, it just won't be the same. Maundy, Thursday, Good Friday, the days came and went. The virus pressed on, it just would not relent. The world woke Sunday and nothing had changed. The virus still menaced, the people estranged. Pooh-pooh to the saints, the world was grumbling. They're finding out now that no Easter is coming. They're just waking up, we know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two, and then all the saints will all cry boo-hoo. That noise, said the world, will be something to hear. So it paused, and the world put a hand to its ear. And it did hear a sound coming through all the skies. It started then low, then it started to rise. But the sound wasn't depressed. Why, the sound was triumphant. It couldn't be so, but it grew with abundance. The world stared around, popping its eyes. Then it shook. What it saw was a shocking surprise. Every saint in every nation, the tall and the small, was celebrating Jesus in spite of it all. It hadn't stopped Easter from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And the world, with its life quite stuck in quarantine, stood puzzling and puzzling. Just how can it be? It came without bonnets, it came without bunnies, it came without egg hunts, cantatas, or money. Then the world thought of something it hadn't before. Maybe Easter, it thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Easter, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, the story's not done. What will you do? Will you share with that one, or two, or more people needing hope in this night? Will you share the source of your life in this fight? The churches are empty, but so is the tomb, and Jesus is victor over death, doom, and gloom. So this year at Easter, let this be our prayer, as the virus still rages all around, everywhere. May the world see hope when it looks at God's people. May the world see the church is not a building or steeple. May the world find faith in Jesus' death and resurrection. May the world find joy in a time of dejection. May 2020 be known as the year of survival, but not only that, let it start a revival. In response to that poem, I would just really like to pray, so if you would please join me. Lord, I thank you that you are bigger than COVID-19. I thank you that as we've all been preparing for Easter and wondering what it's going to be like this year, that you came through like never before, and that people and the world were able to hear your name being praised in spite of it all. Lord, I just found those words so powerful. I thank you that you are bigger than all of our fears and the pain that we're experiencing and all of the gloom, Lord. You truly did rise from the grave and were resurrected back to life. You saved us all from suffering that same pain that you went through and from feeling the separation from God. Lord, even as we are in isolation, we are not separated from you. You are close to us and with all of us. I pray that this would be a season where people would see your name being praised in spite of it all, that your name would be glorified in our lives and in our actions, even when we're in isolation. Lord, our actions and words are still impacting others, whether we realize it or not, and I thank you for that. I thank you that we can still live out your love in this time and share the good news that we have in you, and I pray that people would even more so see the peace and the hope that lives in those that follow you, that they will be confused at it and ask questions, that it will provoke conversations. I pray for revival in this country, in the world, in this time. I pray that it will draw people closer to you and that they would recognize the power and hope and life that can be found in you, that there is freedom from fear in who you are and in the grace that you give. I pray that we wouldn't just let Easter pass by this year, but that we would continue to live in that hope that we have, that we celebrated this past Sunday, and that we would take it forth for the weeks to come, no matter for what lies ahead. In your name I pray. Amen. Thank you all for joining me this morning, and I pray you all have a great rest of your day.